clearly the qualifying method is very good because all the top seeds have won. So we're off underway here in game number 1 between Duzy and Sidnev. I don't have Duzy's special Z in the with that font, I don't think. So his actual name has a Z with a little dot at the top. Duzy K, says my friend Rafael here from Poland. Everything's good. Alright, so off underway here in game number 1 of the semifinals. Sidnev versus Duzy K. I probably already said that. I don't know. My head's kind of gone. So, Sidnev with a very high left side board looking good. Duzy is 1 Tetris ahead, but Sidnev gets a Tetris right there. Dan is sitting here next to me, eating. No. Oops, Sidnev has a cliff, but is gonna be able to handle it. Reference to Cliff Clavin, one of the famous characters of television. What's up? So.
You're making me anxious if you don't use the monitor. Ich meine, mein Gedanke, dass ihr dann halt im Studiomodus bleiben könnt. Und dass der Commentary hat, einfach schauen kann. Und auch im großen Bildschirm und während dann die Regie alles machen kann, was sie möchte, ohne dass das beeinflusst ist.
Ja, aber wir haben jetzt nur 2 Spieler-Szenen.
Vielleicht habe ich auch vorher noch ein bisschen Panik.
Alright, so neck and neck here, 212 for Sidnev and 209 for Duzy. Not really much to say, although actually Duzy is a couple of lines behind, so he's having the slightly more efficient start here. Test our Tetris pickup lines on Dan. Huh? Alright, Sidnev has a floating S-piece, but was able to fix it because it's not really that bad. So, 303 here for Sidnev, 300,000 for Duzy, who's still 3 lines behind. And I obviously haven't listened to much of the commentary because I've been busy running the event, but of course, we are at a new location, the wonderful Area 52 in the 21st district of Vienna on the right side of the river. And currently, Sidnev could use some T-pieces, gets 1 right there. Although that T-piece not too helpful, but finds a good solution for it. And 373 here for Sidnev, 368 for Duzy. And of course, we do have a Matcherino. You can see it. I actually didn't forget to put in a little thing that says the price. If you put an exclamation point Matcherino in the chat, Dan is touching my computer. What is he doing? I think you have to go to the right. Yeah, we do have a Matcherino. Oh no! Duzy has topped out right as I was messing about with my computer. So, Sidnev takes game number 1. Stream open. Okay, that's not good. So, off and away here in game number 2. You see Gunter right next to Duzy. In case you were wondering what Gunter looks like. There he is. You can also see Dobry's head cut off next to Sidnev. Actually, speaking of Dobry, I'd like to give a shout out to everybody who helped us out today because it was very stressful we're supposed to have a second stream. What? Oh, wow. Somebody gave a bunch of money. Who was it? Let's see. Oh, I have to refresh it. Who gave us money? It was K9 watching Tetris. Thank you so much for your hard-earned cash. It's gonna go to a great cause, which is funding these players and their activities. Hopefully going to more Tetris events. In terms of Tetris events, maybe they can go to CTWC France, which is up next month, hosted by Gunter, who you can see, whose side of head you can see on Duzy's side. So far in this game, 121 here for Sidnev, 106 for Duzy. Right now, everything is looking clean. Everything has looked clean the entire time, except for the one time where it wasn't, and Duzy topped out, and I obviously missed it. So, what are you going to do? Sidnev's left side looking a little bit cut off, gets the S-piece over. It's forced to play that J like that, so it's going to be a bit of a dig, but as long as she can get the J piece over, everything is fine. Gets a long bar, alleviates a lot of pressure. Still needs something for the left side. Long bar does wonders there, and Sidnev is fine, and gets another Tetris, and somebody's food is ready. So 200,000 here for Sidnev, 202 for Duzy, neck-and-neck game here. Duzy getting a dirty Tetris, works out very nicely, reopens his right well and gets a Tetris just because that's the aim of the game. And very neck-and-neck game here. Nothing really to separate the two players until now, where actually Duzy is one Tetris ahead. Alright, so it's still neck-and-neck in terms of score, although Duzy some lines behind, so yeah, in terms of pace, Duzy here enjoying a one Tetris lead. Sidnev going for a series of tucks, culminating in an S-tuck, working out very nicely. And there's a Tetris for Sidnev. Sidnev is just going to take the burn there with the J piece. Nice setup there, although it does... oh, we're actually going to set up a nice Tetris setup, which perfectly reopens her right well. Duzy in a little bit of trouble, although a long bar there goes a long way with burning it all out, and reopens his right well, and gets a Tetris. So right now, still neck-and-neck in terms of score, but Duzy a couple lines behind, so same situation as before. Duzy with a slight lead in terms of runway. That's a very not so good square piece, but gets the long bar to fill in the dependency. Duzy could really use a J piece or a long bar towards the left side. Okay, reopens it there. Just as the J and long bar is coming, he covers it up. It's very annoying, but should be okay. Has a couple of lines still to go until 19, although this is now getting more and more, not necessarily dangerous, but annoying to deal with, and really allowing Sidnev to get into the lead as we are approaching level 19. So Sidnev with that Tetris will transition at 558, and Duzy gonna join her on level 19 at 526. Yes, this is NTSC. Alright, so no, this is not PAL. Alright. So, level 20 here for Sidnev, gets a Tetris, goes up to 614. Duzy with a Tetris goes up to 577. Sidnev with a bit of a mess on her board, but low down. It's not any mortal danger, but just going to be a couple of extra burnt lines, although actually Duzy having to burn some lines as well. So right now it's about a 1.5 Tetris lead here for Sidnev at the same line count. Both players able to use the Lombard for the Tetris. Sidnev good setting up the Otuk. Gets a Tetris. This Duzy's, that's a terrible Z piece. So it's going to be a bit of a mess here on this board. And it's going to allow Sidnev to really run away with the score here. So wants to clean this up as soon as possible. They're both rolling, so of course game can still go on for many, many lines. But of course, any sort of deficit against Sidnev is not something you want to deal with. Okay, Duzy climbing up, but gets the J piece over, doesn't get the Lombard over, gets the next Lombard over for the Tetris. Still a mess on his board, but that's alleviating some pressure and getting a lot of square pieces when he doesn't really need them. Oh, takes a double there, gets a Lombard for the Tetris. Okay, but this has allowed Sidnev to really climb up in the lead. Sidnev 130,000 points ahead. And Duzy just setting up for these dirty Tetrises. But now probably will burn it down. Has to think about his board health going into 29 now. But max out here for Sidnev, A18. Duzy, nice. Dirty Tetris goes up to 856. And Duzy looking like he's basically cleaned it up, although that piece was not really so friendly. Alright, gets it over. Let's see what Duzy does here. Is he going to set up there on column something? You know, Sidnev just Tetrising around. Okay, Duzy gets a Tetris. So Sidnev going to transition to 29 at B60, gets a Tetris, goes up to B96, and Duzy transitioning with about 900,000. So Duzy with a deficit into 29. And Sidnev obviously going strong here still, gets another Tetris, C80 here for Sidnev. Duzy trying to reopen as well. So far doing some good work with that, but Sidnev just not really making it very easy for him, just keeps Tetrising. But there's a Tetris back from Duzy, it maxes out at A03, but Sidnev at 1.4, although Sidnev now with a bit of a mess on her board. Just as I say that, everything is fine. E47 for Sidnev. And Duzy's board, some misdrops. Still low down enough that he should be able to burn this out. Oh, but that roll of the L piece not going to work there for Duzy. Needs something towards the left side, gets a square over, but the board falling apart, and this is looking very tough for Duzy. A70, and Sidnev at F44. Just, my god, alright, there you go. There's a Tetris, almost a rollover. Okay. Okay, wants to deal with the Tetris. Okay, never mind, gets a thing, okay. And, okay, roll over there for Sidnev. And off underway here in game number 3, Duzy needing all 3 games from here on out to make a finals appearance. Of course, after this match, it'll be the 500th edition of Sam Vaughn and Dan Vuong. If you're thinking I just said the same 2 names after another, I didn't. They just have very similar sounding names, even when you go to their last names. Alright, Sidnev gets a nice sturdy Tetris, 46,000 for her. 69,000 for Duzy. So far, both players have only burnt the one line. That's true, we do have Sam Vaughn and Dan Vinky to better help differentiate the players. Alright, so far here in this game, not really much of a difference. Duzy is a couple lines behind, so yet to get the Tetris. Okay, gets a Lombard for a Tetris. And actually, with a couple of burns now, Sidnev does have a true one Tetris lead. Or at least she did when I started that sentence. So 210 here for Duzy, 231 for Sidnev. I can see that someone redeemed the code. Thank you, whoever that was. Do we still have contribution codes? I don't know. 11 codes, okay. We can still, so 11 people can still click one button and add a little bit to the prize pool, which would be very, very appreciated. Alright, Sidnev with very high left side, but now it's starting to fill in the rest of the board. So at the same line count, Sidnev with a 1 Tetris lead. Alright, Tetris there for Sidnev. Duzy at 354. Sidnev at 373. Someone else redeemed the code. Thank you. So we have 10 more. Sidnev setting up a T spin tuck and gets it. Alright, so still the 1 Tetris lead here for Sidnev, 467 for her, and 446 for Duzy. Alright, so looking at some good transitions here. Thank you to whoever redeemed that code. Oops, Sidnev with a misdrop there of this square piece. Not in any danger, just a couple of extra lines, although that Lombard will go a long way with minimizing the damages. And now it's basically neck and neck. Alright, so both players looking at decent 600k transitions here. Let's see, Duzy with that Tetris will transition to level 19 at 634. Sidnev still with 1 line to go, so can get one more Tetris. Okay, there you go. Finds the right rotation. And a 657 transition here for Sidnev. So some good 18 play here for both players. Or maybe just really good RNG, I don't know. But Duzy set up for a dirty Tetris, gets it. And reopens the other Lombard dependency on his board. And unfortunately, bar comes one piece too late. Well, Sidnev doing a bit of a digging as well. Duzy now set up for a center wall Tetris. Sidnev gets a right wall Tetris. And Duzy with that burn is back on the right side. Alright, Tetris there for Sidnev. 7-14 for her. And 7-26 for Duzy. Duzy is a couple of lines ahead, so still very much the lead here for our Dutch player. Duzy really could have used that J piece, one piece earlier, now in a bit of a mess. Now puts more weight on the hole. Like Lombard there to the left works. T-piece works as well. But it's getting a little bit annoying here for Duzy. Just more lines. He's not in any danger, but just gonna be problematic there. Okay, but gets a Tetris, and with those two singles, has a clean board once again. But even just that little bout of burning has allowed Sidnev to really establish a strong lead. 9-14 for Sidnev into level 24. Duzy, the middle of 24 at 8-28. So over 100,000 point lead now at the same line count. And Duzy going aggressive there with those pieces to the right side, as he knows it's going to be a very tough task to try and defeat Sidnev here. But I think some people are playing Counter-Strike on the in the other room. Alright, Tetris there for Duzy, 930. Tetris there for Sidnev, 994. So both players going strong here. Sidnev, though, had to take a triple, but board is now clean as a result. And Duzy maxes out himself, but is behind by one Tetris. Also has 2 less burns to give before 29. So loses a Tetris there with that burn. But as we saw, both players capable of playing 29 efficiently. Although actually now Sidnev in some danger here. It's not something that she can't survive. It's just she doesn't have many lines before 29. So needs to make as much progress on this dig as she can. So is going to transition to 29 with a bit of a mess. But has burned it down very effectively. And it should just be a pretty easy dig now for Sidnev. Duzy, meanwhile, has taken the lead. B51 here for Duzy. B17 for Sidnev, but Sidnev is completely fine. Gets a Tetris, and it's basically neck and neck now. Duzy with a couple of holes on his board. Duzy, oh, those pieces to the left side are going to do him in. And in the end, Sidnev is our first finalist.
No, Tristan didn't really try to go for that left.
If they get to level 39, the speed will double again. There is a clock. Tristan halfway up the board. Huff.
Wait, Tristan's digging this down.
Huff.
Tristan's freaking digging this down. Are you freaking serious?
Huff
Are you freaking serious?
Get to the